and welcome. My name is Danielle, and today we have a very special guest with us. We have Bonnie Melita with us. She's a contributing writer in the upcoming book, Stories of the Goddesses, Divine Frequency Keepers. And I just want to quickly go over briefly what is going to be released in this magical book. A lot of you know that worldwide, women are on a quest to rediscover their inner magic after years of suppression and subjugation. Our mothers and our grandmothers were forced to hide their gifts to survive in a very patriarchal society. But now is the time to break free and claim our rightful place. So we, the wisdom keepers of our ancestral heritage, are upholding the honor of our families and our tribes. So we are reclaiming our bloodlines in any rightful place as leaders and visionaries of the future. So the divine feminine and all of us, we call upon to serve humanity as her champions, using our hearts and our wombs to create a better world with love and integrity. Within each of us lies a goddess and waiting to be awakened by the unique light frequency we all each emit. We are all living prayers, and we are here to make a difference in the world. So, sisters, it is time to rise, and I want to welcome you, Bonnie, for being a part of this magical book and a divine frequency keeper with all of our sisters.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, and I'm very excited to announce our upcoming book, Stories of the Goddess Divine Frequency Keepers. So, being a collaborative writer with Rada Publishing House, it's been such an honor to connect with women like you. And I would like to start off by asking, what is it that inspired you to contribute to Stories of the Goddess? And how did you choose the topic and theme for your specific chapter?
Well, I had done a summit called the Inner Goddess Summit, and that's how I met Rada. And so I was already on this sort of quest to learn more about the inner goddess and what it means to other women. And so when Rada asked me, I agreed to do it because it is a logical extension to what I was already doing, the work I was already doing. I've also been a yoga teacher for many, many years and had already created a yoga style that I call goddess yoga.
Mm,
Um, and so it's just sort of a building block process. And so when she approached me and asked me about writing the book, at that time I was in the midst of caretaking my mom,
mhm.
and she has since I had said yes, and my mom was very on board with that and really excited about it, and had not been excited about much of anything else that I had thought of doing at the time. Obviously, she wasn't in her best stage at that moment, and so the fact that she was very on board with this also made it feel even more right to me. It felt right to me, but having that, my goddess lineage, my mother, to have such strong passion about me doing the project was obviously really a supportive factor. And she unfortunately decided to fly away with the angels. And so by the time it came time to actually start working on the chapter and writing the chapter, I had gone through that process and was sharing with Rada some things about how I had handled it, and how I did the whole process, and how all the words that we use surrounding those events and that time and that sort of rite of passage bothered me, and that I had been, sort of reinventing everything and using my own words and doing things very much the way my mom wanted it to be done, which was not conventional, wasn't really following the sort of societal norms. And so Rada asked me if it would be too soon for me to write about that, and I said no, because I felt that it would actually be helpful to me, which it definitely has been very helpful to me to express that and share it. And yeah, so that's how I came about my chapter.
Wow, that's beautiful. And it also helps a lot of other women who might be going through something similar. That's what we're here for,
And
to
it's a
party.
topic I'm not necessarily so comfortable talking about. There's a lot
Right.
of hush hush about it, and don't talk
Yeah.
about it, don't think about it. And so, yes, it's good to share that.
Yeah. Could you share with us a little bit about the process for your chapter in the stories of the goddess?
About the process of the actual chapter or the process of what it's about.
The chapter? Yeah.
It was for me very much. I sort of sat down and wrote way too much, and was sort of frustrated with myself. But it was beautiful because it really helped me understand what I had even done and what I had actually experienced. Because it wasn't until I wrote it that
Mm.
it really began to make sense. But I had way too much, and I allowed myself to just do that and get it out. And then I just scrapped it all and started over from the beginning. And that time it just flowed out so naturally. But I was very much connecting with my mom. So I really feel like it's not my chapter, but our chapter. I feel like she helped me write it. I was really hearing her very, very clearly throughout the process of writing it. And so it's my story, but it's her story as well. And through that final time of writing it, it really really began to gel for me, and so many things came full circle, and I understood so many things more. And I've actually put it down and not looked at it for a little while, so I'm ready very soon, I think, to go back and start looking at it again, reading it again, and seeing how it feels now, because obviously I'm in a different space now too.
Wow. So many key codes I can feel are going to come through that. So thank you for sharing at such a vulnerable time. That's really special. How has the embodiments and the essence of the divine feminine impacted your life and the work that you've shared with us?
um well, it's an interesting question, because I sometimes feel, that I don't necessarily know anything or understand anything about the divine feminine, yet I feel like it's so present in me, and it's so much who I am. But I feel like I'm in a very much transitional space in my life where I'm really examining who I am and what makes me who I am. And so delving into these goddess frequencies and these divine goddess aspects and archetypes that we have has really been very instrumental to me in understanding my own self and the many aspects of myself, because we're not, none of us are just one thing. We're not flat like a piece of newspaper
Right.
with words on it. We are so multidimensional and three-dimensional. Yes, of course we are, because we are this flesh and bones and whatever, but there's so much more to us. And delving into these divine feminine archetypes has really helped me understand the aspects of myself as well.
Beautiful. Wow. And I agree, we are multifaceted. So that's a really great way to express that.
Mhm.
The integrative part of that divine feminine power and wisdom, how have you brought that into your personal and professional life?
Ooh, oh gosh. Right now, I feel like I haven't done anything very successfully, just because I am in that transition space and I am still grieving. It's not even been 6 months, and I had a nice long time of a very close relationship with my mother my entire life. So um, I have to sort of, and this is something I've actually been doing this week. So nice that you asked me this question. I've been digging deep to sort of understand, like, what do I do well, and what do I do, and what do I want to do, and and what do I contribute to this world, and what have I contributed. And I know that developing goddess yoga really helped me hone in on my own physical aspects of how movement is important to me, and how movement, particularly in a way that is very inspirationally led and very divinely led as well, and being able to facilitate that in a room full of I can't even say women because I've often had men in the room also doing goddess yoga and they have loved it. So facilitating that for others has been just really, really powerful. And so I have been tapping into that divine feminine aspect for many, many years already. And now just sort of honing in on more aspects of it and layering more and more aspects. If that
Beautiful.
answers the
Yeah.
question.
You kind of answered a little bit of the question I was about to ask, so I'll just skip to the next one. But what do you hope that the readers will take away from your chapter in the stories of the goddess?
Oh my gosh, I really hope most of all that they will take away the 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 concept that not everything has to be done according to social norms,
Love it.
and have the strength to actually not just take it as a concept but facilitate it and practice it in their own lives, whether it be the passing of a loved one or whatever it might be. Things don't necessarily have to be done in the conventional way. For
Right.
some people, the conventional way is fine, but for some people, it doesn't serve them. And for me, myself, it would not have served my soul at all to have done this in the conventional, traditional, or the way that we are currently accustomed to it being done. So I really, really hope that it will empower people to do things their way, and in a way that's true to themselves and true to the people around them that they love,
Mm,
and strengthen themselves in that way.
I love that. Would you mind speaking to those who are, whether they're a sister or even men, because community is really important, but could you speak on the importance of sisterhood and community in the goddess journey and how that's impacted you?
Wait, can you say that one more time?
Yeah, can you
I'm
speak
sorry.
to the importance of the sisterhood in our community and the goddess journey overall? I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. My brain just sort of went on a tangent. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It was me, not you. Yes. So the importance of sisterhood is something that I did not even understand until further into my life. And it was shown to me by my female students, by my yoga students who just sort of brought this out of me. The whole goddess yoga thing came out of me because they pulled it out of me, because I always teach yoga in a way where I don't plan the class. I go in and I feel and I sense and I reach and I listen for what the students need, whoever's there that day, because that to me is the way it works best for me.
Okay.
And so I had so many students, um, female students, women coming to me and telling me how the class inspired them and telling me how it brought their own feminine power out of them and how it connected them with their divine aspects. And then, I created this goddess yoga thing, but I didn't want to cut the men out of it. And so I just made it open to everyone. And in the first workshop that I did, a third of the room was men, and three of them were men that I didn't know, had never seen, and had never even done yoga. They just saw this flyer for goddess yoga and
Wow.
said, hey, we want to do this. And so the feedback I got from the men, it just was so eye-opening for me, because their comments were, we have always been told how to behave as males in society. No one has ever told us how to behave in our feminine aspects. And so we felt so liberated because you just created this space where we were free to express our feminine sides. And these are not, these are very manly men kind of guys, they're like, "Rrr." But they were feeling this. And so that really tapped me in and tuned me in to how important it is to gather as sisters, as women, as feminine aspects, and and share. And then I have been so fortunate to be so surrounded by a group of women who have supported me so much through all of my shenanigans of my other books that I've written and my yoga projects and through the taking care of my mom and all of that. And that there really is something magical about a group of women coming together. And if you haven't experienced it, you should seek it out because it's beyond words, it's beyond description, and each gathering is different and each group of women is different, but it is magically empowering, really.
Beautiful. And overall, the experience that you've had with Rada Publishing House during the process of writing and having this overall experience, because it was also a program, it was a group of women who are already in a place of leadership that were bringing forth their vision and what it is they're currently doing in the world. So being said, how was it like working with Rada Publishing House? How supported did you feel? Um, what was the partnership like during your experience?
I felt super supported.
Mhm.
Rada is just a magical being in and of herself. And so the whole organization just is imbued with that. You know, she's a little powerhouse and I mean she is, you know, and so everything she puts her energy into is just filled with that, like to the brim. And so it's been a very supportive
Mhm.
um, community because that's what she's created. She's created that space, and her company has created that space, and the women within the group have, you know, been a part of that space. So it's been a really beautiful, supportive journey.
I'm so happy to hear that, and it's been wonderful to see every woman shine, in their own space and to hold space for each other. So, how do you hope that readers will be impacted by your chapter? Are there any takeaway messages that you want to give them?
Yes, march to the beat of your own drum.
I love that. That's
Or,
beautiful.
you know, what, you know, if it's not a drum, it doesn't have to be a drum either, you know. And if you want to dance instead of march, you know.
Be yourself. I love that.
Mhm.
Ah, lovely. And lastly, where could we find you? Do you have any special offerings that we could link down below for you?
Um, yes, I have my website is bonniekiseno.com, www.bonniekiseno.com. I am in the process of transitioning, and so I am transitioning into moving into doing some goddess retreats and things like that. But they are not in place at this moment. So I don't have any special offerings for anything like that, but be on the lookout for it because it's coming.
Yeah, when that time comes, we'll be sure to update the information and link it down below for everyone.
Of course, the
Yeah.
offering.
So I just want to thank you and congratulate you on the upcoming release of the Stories of the Goddess, Divine Frequency Keepers, very special book that will be released in March. So again, guys, we'll be sure to link all the information down below. As time goes on, we'll update it. And thank you, Bonnie. It was a pleasure to be connected to you through this process and
You
wishing you
likewise, Danielle, and you know, I have to say, you as a part of Rada Publishing Company, you've been a big part of that support, and I'm so grateful to you for that. And it has been a pleasure to interact with you throughout this process and get to know you. So thank
yes,
you.
likewise. Until next time, guys. Bye for now.